Well, more now on our top story, the attacks in Ankara. It's the third mass bombing that has targeted civilians in the past 4 months. And joining me now to discuss this is Enes Bayraklı. He is a foreign policy researcher at SETA, a political, economic and social research think tank based in Turkey. Welcome to the programme. Thank you for joining us. We still don't know who carried out Saturday's attacks. The Prime Minister has said the government believes it is ISIS and the motive was to potentially influence the general election, which is due on the 1st of November. What impact do you think the attack was meant to have?
I think the first strategy of ISIS is to carry on the conflict inside Syria into Turkey. There is a strong conflict between the Kurds and the ISIS inside Syria, and they want to create a chaos inside Syria so that they will benefit from this chaos, especially ISIL. If we look at the strategy of ISIL, they became very strong after there was a chaos inside Syria, and especially in Iraq. So that's the fertile ground for a terrorist organization, and that's the main strategy that they want to create as instability in Turkey, and that's their main aim. And the elections also they want to let's say influence the outcome of elections, and that's the second, I think, because they are also they say they are the enemy of the Justice and Development Party and etc. So that's their strategy.
This is the worst attack that Turkey has seen, 97 dead and many more injured. The AK party has suspended election rallies until Friday. The HDP is considering that. How likely is this going to affect the election process? Are we going to see people turning up at the ballot boxes if the election goes ahead, or would people consider using a postal vote?
No, there is no postal vote in Turkey. You have to go to the polling stations, and I think it won't affect the participation. Participation will be again very high, around 83% or 85%. But these rallies, the election campaign in Turkey is done through these rallies. Yes, it's a tradition. But because there is also election fatigue in Turkey, there were 4 elections in Turkey in the last 2 years, and people are really tired of elections. And we have seen that these rallies are not really crowded as it was in the past. So I don't think that will affect the election outcome, especially that these rallies are cancelled.
Do you think we'll definitely have an election?
Yes, we do. Yes, we will.
There is that public sentiment to go forward and to vote.
Yes.
Despite the
elections were never cancelled in Turkey, in the history of Turkey. We had a worse security situation in the 90s, especially in the east. So we never cancelled the election in Turkey, and we will definitely have these elections.
Now, there's been criticism hurled at President Recep Tayyip Erdogan from opponents, saying that the government hasn't done enough following the attack on Saturday, and they've accused the state of stirring up nationalistic tension. How is the government responding? We know that there's going to be a press conference inside the PM compound that's about to start soon. How is the government responding, and what are they doing to try and regain public confidence?
I think that's an unjust, let's say, accusation, because the government is trying everything to prevent this kind of attacks. Many suicide bombers have been caught by the police, by the security forces, but the security situation is also very difficult. Yes. It's a huge task for the government, for the intelligence services. We have a very long border with Syria, around 900 kilometer border. We have 2 million refugees inside Turkey, and this makes it very difficult for intelligence services to gather intelligence and then to catch these people. Many have been caught, but if you just miss one, then it causes great destruction, which happened. And so this happens also in the Europe and in every state, in every country. Of course, governments should do more to secure these rallies. But on the other hand, it is inevitable that some will get through.
The press conference is due to start in Ankara, within the PM compound. What do you think will be heard at that press conference? Is security going to be top of the agenda?
Yes, I think there will be more tight security measures, especially regarding these rallies, and there will be other measures, and maybe we will hear about more details about the attack who has done it and who is responsible for this. And some details are kept secret now because of the ongoing investigation, but we will hear more details, I think.
Now, President Putin was one of the global voices to come out and sort of say that he gave his condolences to Turkey. Obviously, there's been a lot of airstrikes in Syria with Russian jets. What message do you think Putin is trying to sort of weave into the narrative here?
I think he is trying to give the message that he is fighting terrorism inside Syria, but which he is not, because he is also bombing the moderate rebels inside Syria, and it is the Assad regime that's responsible for the rise of ISIL. Because of the atrocities of the Assad regime, ISIL became so strong and the moderate forces weakened. So I think Putin is trying to gain advantage from the situation, and also he's also giving support to the, he is talking about giving support to the PYD, which is also a terrorist organization which is associated with the PKK, and PKK is attacking in Turkey, killing civilians and the soldiers and etc. So,
okay. Enes Bayraklı, stay with me, because we would love to hear your thoughts once that press conference starts, but we are going to just check on other news now.